This is a video letter to VenomfangX's dad. Dear VenomfangX's dad, what kept you? When I look at your son, I see you. I see your behaviour. And what I see is neglect. Mothers teach their daughters how to be women, and sons look to their fathers for how to be a man. And the father should do his best to teach the kids some integrity, some honesty, some honour. But that doesn't seem to have happened with you. I don't think you're generally incompetent, because you're a rich man. Judging from your home, you look like a millionaire to me. So you must have reasonable intelligence. Were you working so hard that you didn't notice the baby coming into the home, growing up, going to school? You didn't see that little fella running around the house? You're a millionaire, but you wouldn't buy him a video camera. Did you suspect what he was doing? What would be the harm in getting your son a video camera? I think you suspected he was doing something on the internet, and you didn't approve. Or at least you know your son, so you guessed that you wouldn't approve, but you didn't want to know. You didn't check it out. It says a lot about what Sean must have been through. You prepare them for life. What have you prepared your son with? A large padded Scooby-Doo, a Batman costume. For a boy in his 20s. If that had been my boy, I'd have had that Scooby-Doo and that Batman costume up in the attic gathering dust for the last 10 years. Or thereabouts. Do you ever go up and ask your son how he's doing? Do you ever say, come on, let's get in the car, let's get out and see the sun? Do you take him to work? Do you take him to the bar to interact with your friends? To learn normal modes of human behaviour? I don't think you did. I think you probably grunt at him as a greeting. I think he talks to you and realises after a few minutes as he's walking away that you're just not listening. What's your wife doing? Is she over-mothering him? Does she overcompensate for your complete lack of empathy for the boy? You see, it seems that your boy doesn't have much of an idea about the pain and suffering of other human beings. He seems to only know about himself. You have produced a boy who will literally steal from the mouths of children going through such pain just to give himself an ice cream. I, for one, am not fooled by the idea of it being anything to do with death threats. You must remember that a legal storm cloud was gathering over Sean's head. He had played the donations welcome card too early. He wasn't big enough, he wasn't secure enough, he wasn't mature enough, experienced enough, or indeed clever enough to realise that that's something you do a little bit later on when you get on TV. He tried it on YouTube, and he tried it very clumsily, and the law, a big lightning bolt was about to come out of the cloud of law gathering over Sean's head and strike him down. And it was just about to happen. It was in the process of happening. The lightning bolt was on its way. And then a death threat directed at you, presumably, and your wife. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. That to me is like it's like a guy driving along minding his own business, and he feels a tingle in his chest, and he then has, or is in the process of having, a fatal heart attack just as a juggernaut hits him at 100 miles an hour coming in from the right hand side. The chances of those two things happening at the same time, not zero, but pretty damn low. With good old Occam's razor, I'm going with what's likely, and what's likely is you. Your son was attracting a lot of attention. Don't think that would bother you much. Negative attention, as long as it's directed at your boy, I don't think you give a shit. Revealing of your boy's extremely distorted personality, crippled personality, you wouldn't care. But you would care if there was some kind of legal thing that might just reach the papers, because then you get tagged. The tar and the feathers fall on you, and that's what you care about. As soon as he mentioned the sick kids hospital, a lot of us knew that it was only a matter of time, because if that ever hit the papers, what would that do to your business? Wouldn't that be humiliating? Everyone would know that you can't bring up a kid. Everyone would know that you bring up a kid to be some kind of reptile. It would reflect on you. You should have taught him how to be a man. Instead, you didn't teach him anything. He's so full of self-pity, so self-centered and self-obsessed that he's the only person on the planet. Did you get too many phone calls at work about your son? Did you receive letters pointing you to internet addresses? Did people contact your competitors, your suppliers, your customers? Did they suddenly point at you and laugh at you and say, hey, your son's pretty crazy? And only then do you tell him to shut down. When you started to get the fingers pointed at you and the laughter directed at you. If all that you've done is taken down his internet site, you are perpetuating your crime and doing nothing to try and put it right. You're just saving your own face and the potential humiliation of a newspaper article, or getting a reputation locally which might damage your business. But I suspect you're more worried about your name and reputation. If that's all you've done, taken him down, you're still screwing up. You need to get the boy, just the two of you, somewhere where you can have a talk, a real talk, and you've got to show him some of the love that you haven't shown him for so long. Well, thank you for finally acting and taking down Sean's internet presence. Thank you for that. Long overdue. Your real crime was committed in the previous 20-odd years when you allowed VenomfangX's character to boil and stew in its own anger and frustration. That was your real crime. You have not undone my opinion of you simply by acting now, because I think you've only acted now to save your own face. But your son will be back, no matter what the cost, because the internet is his father now, and his mother, and his brother, and his sister, and he needs the internet like most children need the love of their parents. And the only thing that's comforting in all of this is the fact that you're probably intelligent enough to know that you have so poorly equipped your son to deal with the world that you've left him with only two options. One, to deceive his way to riches, or to wait for you to die. I like the idea that you probably know that.